You're listening to Pointing Pointers, the Point to Point podcast.
Good morning. The sun is shining. It's a rare time to record, but here we are. I'm Ben Atkins. This is episode 21 of Pointing Pointers, and Steph got the memo that we had to wear a cream jumper. Steph Jones, how are you?
Good, thanks, Ben. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Um, Firstly, I always, especially with you on, I'm reminded to thank our sponsors, the PPRA and Red Mills. Uh, you always remind me about that, so thank you. We've got no headline guest this week, Steph, but we'll no doubt find our stride again when Sam comes back from his 1 month long drinking sabbatical. And I'm sure we'll be back in the normal pattern. But great to have you along today. Anyway, how are you? I already
Yeah,
asked you that.
yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, you said on the sheet that I had to say I'm great, so I'm great. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
all
and
fine.
it's in capitals as well, so you need to say it like really exuberantly. But I
Yeah,
mean, hey,
well,
listen, you're the producer. Um,
yeah, no, I'm fine.
so I don't want to start on a negative, but there was a two-runner Hunter Chase at Exeter yesterday, was it, or a couple of days ago?
Yeah.
Not ideal. When is it going to rain, Steph? Have you had any down there, or is it just a nationwide issue?
No, no, we haven't. And to be honest, it doesn't necessarily look like we're going to get much next week either. So, but look, it goes like this, in roundabouts. We were saying the other day, when's it going to stop raining? So, you know, it's just one of those things. It will come back. I'm sure we will have some rain. Um, and then I can start selling my waterproofs, more importantly. Um,
Yeah, that is really bad timing for your waterproofs.
yeah, yeah, the lovely weather's not doing me any favors. But
No.
no, yeah, the ground, I'm sure we'll get some rain and it will improve. There are still some lovely tracks with some nice ground coming. So yeah, I'm not too concerned. Exeter is a particularly dry track. And
Right.
I'm not sure it was only ground that stopped it having that many runners, to be honest.
Yeah, no. Yeah, fair enough. So speaking of Hunter Chases, we can't not speak about Cheltenham really. So it was the Sam Curling trained Wonderwall, which I mean, if this was a handicap, you'd say this is an absolute Irish plot, wouldn't you? The second string from the stable bolts up a 28-1, and the other one doesn't go. Yeah, well, he went came 10th, didn't he? But so listeners to this podcast would have been rewarded if they'd followed our advice over the last few months. Music Drive snuck into fourth on the line to reward it. It drifted like an absolute barge. I think I backed it at 33s, and I know people got 50s on the day, and it was 9-1 after we'd been talking it up. And Darren Pearce had put it up, and everyone had put it up basically. But yeah, still nice to get paid on 33-1 at four places. So yeah, I hope some of you are on. I think we have to do it. Is it called a? Do you have to do like an after timing boom or like with an emoji? If we were on Twitter, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm just delighted for the Kelly Morgan team. I think
Yeah, and Ellie
it was
Colwood.
amazing. And yeah, and Ellie caught for first right. I thought it was yeah, amazing for them. What an amazing day out to get back in the winners' enclosure, to be the best of the British. Yeah, ran a lovely race. So
Mm.
yeah, really,
And
really pleased for them.
I, we banged on it about it a bit. Um, I thought it was a great ride from Ellie Colwood. I was watching her on the way around, thinking this is a good ride, and then it would have been a good ride if she hadn't placed. Just so patient. Like it takes fairly icy blood to do that on your first ride around Cheltenham. Everything's going away from you. She just sat and sat and sat and sat and just, I thought it was very very clever. And what's interesting is people say things, particularly when they become a bit of a thing to say. People say things publicly, don't they? And you kind of things become a bit of a buzz topic. But I've spoken to three or four people whose opinion I would really respect, kind of, not in a public forum, just on the phone on a one-to-one basis. And all of them said to me, if she can ride a bit, she can, she could go all the way if she really wanted to. So, great for her and great for Kelly. Look, we all know Kelly's talents, and but it's really nice for them to have a superstar back in the yard. So, yeah, delighted for everyone involved. Do you want to hear a good joke that I made up?
Oh God, go on.
So I was at Cheltenham and someone came up to me and just as they're leaving the paddock and said, "Do you think Wonderwall could win?" And I said, "Maybe."
Wow.
I
Yeah.
was
Great.
just yeah, that's good. That at least you did last time. It took a minute or two, but I didn't quite deliver it quite right. But if Dan Sherman's listening, he'll love that. I'll be straight on to me. That's right up his straws. That is terrible jokes delivered badly. Lorcan Williams had a really good week. That champion hurdle. I mean, this is a point in podcast, and that was pure mental. I was in the stands, and I was just like, What am I witnessing?" But what was really interesting is the reception that Jeremy and Lorcan got, and I think there's so many people that are thrilled for Lorcan. So good quiz question, which I'm slotting into the Nick Luck thing shortly, but um, Lorcan's the only professional to ride a winner of the Fox Hunters, courtesy of Paul Bay in 2021 for Biddick in the COVID year. So he's won the Fox Hunters, then obviously won the Mares Novice Hurdle, and he's now won the Champion Hurdle, and started life out in pointing, like we keep banging the drum for, Steph. But yet another example. Ed Bailey found me a race 8 years ago at Ston Easton 8 years ago this weekend that Lorcan Williams won with James Bowen in second.
Oh, there you go. See, no, the stat rate of jockeys, obviously, who have come through our British pointing system and have gone on to do great things is extremely high. It's like over 70%. So, yeah, it's no surprise. It was amazing for Lorcan, and it's amazing for the Jeremy Scott team. Like
Yes.
it, it is, yeah, just a day they will never ever forget, never get taken away from them, and yeah, I've as much as obviously it was a shock result, I think the focus needs to be on the fact that, they've shown up, they've done it, they've jumped all the hurdles required, and they've won.
100%. And like the sportsman in me, which I'm not good at sports, but I'm not bad, Steph, but the
One
sportsman
athlete.
in me, the armchair sportsman in me, whoa, 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 let me stop you there. Uh, the sportsman in me just thinks like it's great for the game last week. You're not in it, you can't win it. It's simple as that. And these horses are not machines. Your monthly reminder.
Well, it had the potential to be a really boring festival
Yeah,
ultimately.
yeah,
As much as we like good horses and what have you, it had the potential to just be really straight and boring, and it was anything but that. It
mm,
was amazing, and there were some really, really good stories, a lot of variety. Yes, we still got slightly dominated by the Irish, but I thought it was a really good festival in the end.
yeah, definitely. So back to pointing. Last weekend's results. What did you notice? What did you notice? I've got a list of bits and bobs here. What did you notice other than Josh winning everything?
What did I
But
notice? The Josh had a good weekend. He didn't win everything, but he had another
anyone, only
weekend.
two winners. Pathetic.
Yeah, yeah. Hannah Morgan was just delighted to see her go out and ride
Yeah,
a winner for Purdy Peaster, who's obviously they're really good mates. They both work for us. And Purdy's obviously on the sidelines with having broken. So she has got her horse Rochester, and Hannah, they'd always wanted to win the hunt race. So yeah, he won the hunt race with Hannah on, which was just amazing after, her last ride was
yeah,
on 16 left. So yeah, it was lovely to see her go and do that. So that was nice. Nice to see Famous Claremont back in the winners' enclosure.
yeah, yeah. We'll talk
Uh,
about Ainsley's.
yeah, he was obviously the winner of the PPORA race at Cottleston. Um, so that was good. Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. So, things I picked out, Hutton Rugby. But I just love it. It's partly because I've got a daughter of Lope de Vega who's a broodmare for me. But I just think it's hilarious that there's a massive son of Lope de Vega running over 3 miles and winning. He won again under the Rosie Howarth, trained by Cherry Coward, called Greater Glory. Apparently, he's a massive horse and just not bred for it. But I love it when that happens. And James King actually sort of pointed out to me that there's an awful lot of sprinting stallions who side point-to-point winners. I guess it's just a class drop for a lot of them, and they just keep sort of trundling about at half speed and win anyway. But interesting nonetheless. Somerville Boy won for Charles Clark, which I'm delighted about. I know Charles a bit for his wife, and that horse had a very, very interesting voyage. So I looked him up yesterday. You might know this stuff already. He won his maiden.
Is he 13 or 14?
Yeah, but he won his maiden in Ireland with Gina on in Ireland, and then so she must have been over there at the time, obviously, and come back. So then sold to Tom George, and then ended back up in Ireland at Henry de Bromhead's. The poor lad must be travel sick, and then he's come back over and finds himself now with the Clark family, who are like, on paper, the mother owns a horse and son trains or whatever, and proper pointing family, like mad keen, absolutely love it, live for it really, I suppose. Farmers that just love the game, and just nice to see, these class horses just still getting it done between the flags.
But to see some of these, nice older horses who just clearly love their racing, the King's Rip being another one, they deserve to be able to have an excellent career through pointing. It's something they don't have in Ireland, and why he's obviously been able to. He comes back. Their pointing scene in Ireland is very much focused on their young horses. They don't have the same system for the older horses in Ireland. You're either good enough to win a Fox Hunters and running in good open races over there, or you have to come here or finish racing. So I think it's a massive benefit for British pointing that we don't really necessarily focus on.
Let's get back to the point. I spoke to the Charles Clark about winning with Somerville Boy, and you can listen to that now.
So very happy to say that I'm now joined by Charles Clark, who trained Somerville Boy to victory at Hutton Rugby at the weekend. Charles, you've had some great horses through your hands, and this is another one. You're doing a fine job with him, but it must be a delight to train.
He is. Roger, I've had quite a few horses off Roger Brookhouse, and last spring after Punchestown, he phoned me and said, did I want another one? And I knew what horse he was talking about because I see that he was running, and then he just basically said, I'll have him shipped over and he'll be with you the next day, and he arrived. So
amazing.
Yeah. And then he's just we only train 4 horses, so
yeah, of course.
And we just train him on the farm here, and so he's just got a nice chilled out life, and he's a delight. I ride him out every day myself around the farm. He just loves it. He'll make a perfect hunter. He's so nice to do and everything.
It's nice when they're that way, and they've got plenty of ability. And I sort of said on the Nick Luck section earlier that he did it, through class really on Sunday. He looked like he had to grind it out at one point, but his class saw him through in the end.
Yeah, well, I had black up, so I knew I'd take my horses to Malton once a week to canter them. To do a piece of work, and I knew how Black Hot went up the hill at Malton.
Yeah.
And when I started to work Somerville Boy this time, I knew that he was as good, if not better. Could just tell.
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
nice.
we were going to run him at Sheriff, but then things happened and it didn't suit, and then we took him to Askham Bryan, and he won easily there. And then following that, we went to the Sinnington, and I thought he was really well at home. I told Thomas Easterby, I said, "Oh, look, he's really well. I think we've got a good chance." And then he didn't run very well, and he was third. So
keep you guessing these horses, don't they? Keep you guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have thought there'd been anything wrong. And Thomas said after the race, he just didn't have the gears like previous.
Right.
So I got him scoped, and he scoped 30. So we gave him an easy month, and then he won again on Sunday. So
Fantastic. Well, these horses have a tendency to reward patience, don't they? But look, he's obviously a class animal, and I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun with him for the rest of the season.
I know pointing's all about training the young ones and getting them to the sales, and there's a lot of emphasis on the young horses, but it's good for racing, isn't it? That the old ones have got a job and a change of scenery, and probably not quite the intensity of National Hunt.
Absolutely.
So it's good for the older horses as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And when
Somerville Boy, he's quite low mileage, so as long as we can keep him sound and happy, I'm sure we'll have some more fun with him.
Yeah, so am I. Absolutely. So, what is your next port of call? Have you got anything in mind yet, or just see where the wind blows?
Well, he's come out of the race really well. Basically, got back from Hutton Rugby, turned him out in the field for an hour, and then brought him in. And then on Sunday, he just laid down in the paddock, sunbathing most of the afternoon. So I guess he'd taken a bit out of him. So we won't rush him back at all, because look, he'll tell us when he's ready to run again.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to run him on any quick ground, because he deserves to be looked after. And we'll just wait for some rain, and then make sure he's okay. He's okay. Yeah. He has lost a little bit of ground since that race, so I don't want to overdo him.
No, fair enough. Totally fair enough. Well, Charles, thanks for coming on, and we'll no doubt catch up with you victorious with one of your others before too long.
Great, thanks, Ben.
So someone else I spoke to was Heidi Brookshaw, and back on the board with a winner at Penhurst since hitting the frame very consistently. Since May, she's not had a winner, and that's a long time for Heidi. She's a very good trainer. She's been very consistent in defeat, but I'm sure she was very relieved to get a winner back on the board. And you can hear my chat with Heidi now.
Heidi Brookshaw, it's been a little bit of a time since we last spoke. How are things?
They've been a bit slow, to be honest, but the horses have been running okay, but we finally got the first win of the season last weekend.
Yeah, I saw. So Move the Chains won at Penhurst, and I was having a quick look, and I knew you've been remarkably consistent, but you've had 11 of the last 21 horses in the first four. So you must have been really frustrated in many ways, and then absolutely delighted to get back in the winners' enclosure this week.
Yeah, it's been frustrating, but finally we got there anyway. So hope we can get a few more now.
Yeah, exactly. So tell me a little bit about the horse.
He's owned by Harvey, who rides out for me. He's based at Harper Adams, and he bought him to ride this season. He got him directly from Gary Moore's. He's a lovely big horse.
Oh, brilliant.
And just wants soft ground, really.
Oh, well, fair enough. And presumably now he's up and running, you'll hopefully find another opportunity for him in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I think he might go to Parham in a couple of weeks, because that's their local meeting, I think. So.
Oh, brilliant. So you're a bit of an owner-rider situation, which we should have to see. And and you've presumably, in the way you normally operate, you've got a few horses that are still kind of peaking, and you're going to see out the season strongly.
Yeah, I haven't got certificates for 4 of them, so there's a few still left to run.
That's good. So you've got plenty up your sleeve then.
We'll hopefully.
We'll see Heidi Brookshaw's name next to a few more winners yet.
Yeah, now the ground's getting better and the weather's a bit warmer.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be out a bit more.
Well, we've never doubted your ability, but it's nice to see you back in the frame and banging in the winners. So yeah, long may it continue.
Much. Fingers crossed.
Take care, Heidi. We'll speak soon.
Speak soon. Thank you. Bye.
Steph, also at Penhurst, weighing room veteran Phil York had a treble. Now, one of them was a walkover. And I felt fraudulent ringing Phil. Really, I thought that was nailed on Sam territory. So we'll get Sam to give him a ring when he's back. But I had a look. His first ride was in 2005, so he's been going 20 years. Fair going, really, isn't it?
Oh, it's an incredible achievement, yeah. And to still, to still want to still love it like that is, he's some man.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, Cotherstone, like you say, famous. Clermont went. I was having a look at the was having a look at the results, and I was thinking James had gone down. I made the same mistake I did the other week, thinking he'd gone for one ride. He didn't. He got beaten on one, but went down for got one on the board, trying to hunt down Josh. All bants aside for the male riders jockey title. I can imagine it'd be quite banterous between those two as the time gets closer. I can see that being quite good fun, really.
Yeah, well, look, Josh isn't keen on worrying about it. It's nice that it's important, but at the same time, until we get to the other side of Easter, titles aren't worth looking at the minute. You've got to wait till you're the other side of Easter. There's a lot of racing to be had yet. But yeah, the boys are enjoying it. I think it's a bit of fun. I'm not sure everyone is necessarily taking the banter in good spirits. So I'm sure. Yeah.
Is that gossip? Is that gossip, Steph? Would you like to elaborate?
No, not really. I just hear that some people look, banter gets passed around and people start chatting and people don't necessarily take it in the faith that it was being meant at the time. So I think everyone just needs to relax, enjoy it. And at the end of the day, as much as I love the fact that the titles are important and the fact that the titles now exist, they didn't. Obviously, the jockey's title has existed for a long time now, but the trainer's title hasn't always existed. And it's nice that we have all of those titles now. But I think we have to remember this horse is running around the field at the end of the day for a bit of crack. Like, let's not take it out.
Come on, don't do it down, Steph. No, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Like, it's not, totally. It's not life or death kind of stuff. So just everyone calm down. But yeah, no, it'll be good.
Everyone relax. And you say Josh isn't looking at it. This is the line everyone comes out with. Oh yeah, I'm just tipping away. We'll look up after Easter and see what. Those lads, they're every weekend. They're going through the results. Oh, bastard, he's on another one. There's absolute. I'm not having it. There's no way. They're all through sportsmen. They are on it.
Josh actually is a very relaxed character.
Yeah, that is true.
He is very laid back. The people that do that are me. I'm the one getting on the results, going, oh, okay, no, that's happening. But no, he's laid back, Larry, that one.
So entries this weekend. Frankly, there's racing everywhere. I usually read a bit of a list out on the Nick Luck section, and it's just like, how long have you got? So, anything catch your eye this weekend, Steph? So there's a 4-year-old only race at Garthorpe.
Yeah, I'm possibly going to Garthorpe, which I've never been before.
Really?
So I've not been. No, I've not
been
there.
Great cross.
We don't travel very much, obviously. we like to stay in Devon and Cornwall, which is not so true. But we're traveling to Garthorpe, I think. There is a 4-year-old only race, and it was funny. I was chatting to Charlie earlier in the week, and I don't think there's been a 4-year-old winner of these 4 and 5-year-old maiden races so far this season.
Correct.
So
that might be looking at. I mean,
we were looking at it in terms of the festival sales, right? So the festival sales, they want 4-year-old winners, and if we don't have any 4-year-old only races, then it makes it trickier. But then should we just be making it easy to win races? I don't know. If the 4-year-olds were good enough, they'd win. So I don't know. But I do think having at least one 4-year-old only race before Cheltenham and one before Aintree to be able to get into those sales is probably the right move. I'm not sure we need many more than that, in the fact that I just don't think that we have enough of the 4-year-old quality crop to do more races than that, I don't think. But it's something that we'll obviously speak to all the other producers about as well.
100%. I've got many thoughts in my head, Steph. As you know, I haven't had my mushrooms this morning. I've had my coffees. I've not had my lion's mane. Don't worry, not the one, not those ones. The other ones. Um, let's start with the fact that you're taking a 4-year-old to Garthorpe.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a tip in itself? Are
Oh,
we
look.
sending the lads with the wheelbarrows?
Well, anything can happen in these 4-year-old races. It'll be
You must half fancy him if you're travelling there.
He's a race course debut. He's a lovely chap. Yeah, he's by Idaho. He's a really nice horse. And yeah, we'd fancy him. We like him. It's going to be a hot race. Everyone's going there for the same reasons. All got to win. All got to go to the sales. So, but we like him enough for him to be taking his chance. We do, yeah. The last 4-year-old winner. The last 4-year-old we took.
Oh, hang about. You've got 2 entered.
So Idaho
you've
Fire.
Podcast exclusive.
Yeah.
So I was looking at Knockoff Socks, which I was aware of because I know you have a horse in the yard called Socks, incidentally. So that must be him. And that's the one I was focusing on. But actually, you wrong-footed us all, and Idaho Fire is on the way. Nick Pearce runs a horse called Trig in that, which is interesting for me personally because I mean, this isn't about me, is it, Steph? Does anyone care? I don't know. Anyway, I happen to own the mare. Me and Nick bought her together, and he had the Okavango colt, and I've now had an Okavango filly out of the same mare. And Trig is a very closely related by Getaway, so out of the same mare. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how. I'm hoping for a form boost because I've only got one national mare, and that is it. So I'm hoping Trig beats you. But let's see, eh?
Well, yeah, but like I said, everyone's going there to go to win because they all want,
of course,
to sell. So, and that's the point of the races, and that's what I like about it being a 4-year-old only race. Really, is that if you've got something good enough, you've all got to go in there together, and that's the depth of form is what is required, and yeah.
But what? Oh, I don't want to get too sidetracked. I said I had a million things in my head. The other thing in relation to this was I've got a bit of a theory brewing that mares and fillies often just need a little bit more time. And there's a lot of, if you look at some of the ones that Gina and Tom have been paid handsomely for, they've gone and won at 5 and been put away for the summer and, not quite being ready and then bolted up at 5. So there's that element to factor in as well. Like, do you make them? Could you restrict them to mares and geldings, or do you have 5-year-old maidens for mare? I don't know. I'm probably
I don't know. I just think we need to be a bit careful in the fact that, let's be honest, we don't have enough of them like the Irish do. So and they need to be winning good races. The point is they've got to be coming up against the very best of their category to go and win and then go and do it on the track after that. So I don't know. It's just something that needs looking at, and I think will get looked at in the near future.
So seems as we're on discussion points now, really. We've seamlessly got there. Something that I want to talk about, and we'll talk about in more detail. I've not really done any planning of this particular section, but the opportunity for point-to-point courses to run schooling trials. Obviously, I've been very closely involved with that, with a different hat on, basically working freelance for the Horse Welfare Board to help deliver it on rules tracks. And we've done one at Larkhill and Chelsea Corbett, and one at Maysmore. And it strikes me that it's something that pointing needs to. I'm saying this independently with my pointing hat on. There's an opportunity that point-to-point courses need to grab as a money-making exercise, and because of what they can offer in terms of ground and times of year, etc. And we'll leave it at that. But linking back into what we were just saying about sales stuff, I happen to know that at least 2 or 3 horses were sold off the back of their runs at Chelsea Corbett. Good or bad thing?
Bad.
Is it though? Because producers have got paid. And it was a race as such. They worked well against rules horses and being sold.
I think if you ask our national sponsors in Tats and Goss, they'd say it's a bad thing. Now, we need when we're thinking about commercializing British pointing, we need national sponsors like those supporting us. We put on a series of 4 and 5-year-old races for them to run in, to then go to the sales, or be sold privately, what have you. Do I think it's good to be running the schooling races to selling them straight off of the back of that? No.
Schooling trials, Steph, not allowed to call them races. Fact check you there.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't think it's a good idea, but I think the actual schooling trials, races, whatever you want to call them, are massively important. I think they are a great revenue opportunity for pointing, and I think they're a great educational piece for our horses and our jockeys. So I hope we manage to keep them and have a lot more of them. But do I think I'd like all the agents turning up, lining up and trying to pick the best ones? No.
David Minton was there, Dan Asprey was there, Ed Bailey was there, Ryan Mahon was there, etc. But I thought it was great. I've got many conflicting thoughts on that. So we'll leave them in my mind. One thing that has been nice about the pointing trials the schooling trials is that everyone's just been pushed in the same direction, and it's amazing to me when everyone wants something to happen, like how
quickly it can happen.
Totally. And it's been my job to sort of get it off the ground, and it's been a beginner's luck, you could say, but it's just been a delight because everyone's like, yeah, great. But speaking of which, I know me and you have spoken a lot about the fact that our generation can be quick to kind of criticize, but not necessarily great at coming forward to do the work. I mean, Steph, you'd fall in the category of, if you want something doing, ask a busy person and get asked. I would probably fall in that same category, and I'm not patting us both on the back here. But I think we need to start seeing the younger generation coming through. It just strikes me, and I know that this is something that you're passionate about, so I'm not just going to make your point for you. But if pointing is going to survive, we need young committee members, young clerks of the courses, people becoming stewards, people becoming starters. It might not be fashionable. It might not be kind of the cool thing to do, but we need it to continue.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous. You say it's not a cool thing to do. I'm thinking along the lines of like the young farmer generation and the young farmers who love to go to, they like to sit on their young farmers committees, and they like to be the chair of the young farmers social committee, or
who wouldn't?
Yeah, like they like to do those things. Those lads need to step up and come and be on the committees for the point. Well, yeah, I use it as a broad. It's the same as the word. Fine.
I'm more saying the ridicule that I received from Johnny Bailey and all the others when I put my hand in the city. I did steward. I got on the steward's course or whatever, and it was like, why would you do that? They're all this, they're all that. You don't want to be one of them. Where'd you bowl all that?
Sit on the sidelines and say, "Oh, the stewarding's absolutely diabolical." It's a
good example, then, isn't it?
The parking at the course is crap, and all of it. And it's like, yeah, but you're not no one. And I say no one, that's unfair. There are plenty of people stepping up, but I think the younger generation are so quick to just sit on the side and say, that's not good enough. They're not doing that right. That's no good. But they're not putting up their hand to go and join the secretaries committees for organising these fixtures. And some of these fixtures are being organised by some, really, really long-standing committees. And they need to be passing their knowledge and experience on to younger people for them to be able to continue. Otherwise, they just get lost. And this is what Wade, we obviously had this chat not that long ago because of the guy from Wadebridge had called it out as a problem that he's having. Like there's just not enough volunteers coming through. And I really, really do think that we need to be using our connections in national hunt racing in terms of stewarding, clerking, to be able to use it as a training ground and get them on course, get them, people who have got to want to be a steward under rules can come and do certain number of days pointing first and stuff. There's definitely ways that we can leverage
make it more attractive.
Enthusiastic people who are already around to actually come and do more pointing. There are plenty of clerk of the courses training, and where better place to train than actually have to do the physical job of updating people on the ground, looking at the ground and stuff, than doing it pointing. So yeah,
100%. And I guess if we can end that point by just saying, a bit of a plea on your behalf, Steph, bit of a plea. If you're a young person, you love going pointing, just stick your hand up and get on a committee and get stuck in. The end. Anything else on your mind?
Anything else on my mind? I'm just looking at the sheet to see what else you put down for me.
What else I put on your mind? Yeah,
you basically just put a list of things on my mind. The new GB pointing. What do you think?
I mean, I like it. I think I like the fact that it's happened. As in, like, I think the PPA needs a voice on socials, and I've always been slightly confused by the many coming into sport. It's quite confusing. You're like, well, who's in charge here, and who's doing what, and why are they doing that, and whatever, and it can be in danger of being quite fragmented. So I'm always a big fan of cementing a brand and saying this is who we are and this is what we're doing. Kind of indifferent on the name and the branding itself, but I mean, there's only so creative you can be when it's very specific what we're doing. So I think it's very positive that we're on TikTok.
Yeah, targeting the younger generation and things. I think pointing deserves to have as many eyeballs on as it can, and I agree with you. I think it's a great thing to for them to have sort of refreshed the brand and things. It's interesting that you say about the knowing who's doing what and stuff. That was probably the bit that I'm still not sure we've seen enough of, in terms of, I would love to see a very clear mission statement and aims and objectives for the PPA for the next 5 years. That would be my biggest thing. That is what I would like to see. It's what Charlie and I did when we came to the PPORA. We've got a very clear mission statement and aims, and that is what we are trying to achieve for our members. I'd also love to see it from the PPSA, because whilst they are another body in pointing, who have a hell of a lot of ownership in the sport, the fixture list is owned by the PPSA, and everyone said, there's no point moaning at the PPA about the way the fixtures are, because they will tell you we can't do it because we don't own it. So it's a very collaborative thing. If everyone could stand behind exactly their role and what their mission is for British pointing, and it was very clear, I think everyone would understand a lot more about how to get things done. And I'm not convinced we've seen that from the PPA just yet. I'm sure it's coming.
Maybe. To give them some credit, Paul and the team some credit. That newsletter that came out recently, I thought was incredibly impressive in terms of the scope of the work being done. I guess what you're saying, and something that I would be a fan of too, is that high level macro picture of this is who we are, this is what we're doing, and this is where we want pointing to be, and that kind of big picture mission statement maybe needs to be clear. And we're seeing a lot of the detail now, and we're seeing a lot of things happening, a lot of good work being done, but we don't know where it's all going. Maybe,
and that for me is would prevent you needing to have to tell every detail. Telling someone what you're doing all the time is one, exhausting on resource, and wouldn't be as necessary. You could go and just get on and do if everyone was aware and in agreement of the road in which you were traveling.
Yeah. Well, Steph, listen, you've never been backwards about coming forwards, and that's what we love about you. So thanks for coming on today. We've seamlessly recorded nearly 50 minutes without the voice notes. So good luck editing yourself.
Well, I just take bits I don't like out, so it's great.
Are you in a Premier Inn with your dog on the bed?
I'm in a travel lodge with my dog on the bed. She's fast asleep. Yeah, I am.
Well, good luck with whatever it is you're doing today. And yeah, thanks for coming on, and we'll catch you all again soon.
You're listening to Pointing Pointers, the Point to Point podcast.